Hi, Jess. Welcome to my podcast. I am so excited to have you here.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Jess was my first ever business coach. I literally found you online somewhere, somehow. I know the universe always brings the right people to you exactly when you need it. I hadn't even started my business really, and I was winging it. I'd already quit my job like a few months back, had already been traveling. I was like, guess I better start this business. Probably need some support. And it was honestly game changing doing your like 1 month program.
It's honestly crazy because it was years ago as well. I love seeing how much past clients have evolved. Like, I know I said this to you yesterday, but like now I send all of my clients back, go and look at how Effy shows up on Instagram because I think it's such a great way of like authentic selling and not selling from like an icky way, just like selling by being. And it's just so amazing to see because we literally started when you just started your business.
Yeah, and I think everyone's got to be a beginner sometimes. Like that's when you're feeling cringe, you don't know what you're doing, you're just experimenting, but like you literally have to go through those like bad growing stages to get better.
Absolutely. And I can imagine if that version of you could just watch your stories from like in Bali, like she'd be fucking buzzing.
I know, so funny. And obviously I've been on so many of your trainings as well, and you're always sharing like your past work and you're like, I love this version of me that did this, but I'm so glad I've
Yes.
grown now and here I
Like, let's audit her content. It was shit.
am. But still love her
Yeah.
though. I'd love to talk about you and your journey into becoming a business coach and literally creating your dream life.
Yeah, of course. So, should I just start right at the beginning?
Do it.
Amazing. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Jessica Pye. You can find me on Instagram, the Jessica Pye. And I have been in business now for 5-ish years. So I started my Instagram account with a blog just before lockdown started. So before we knew that was going to happen, I was a waitress and I knew that, and I'm going to rewind further on, but I'm just going to start with this context. I knew that I wanted to live life on my own terms. And I started this Instagram. I remember being in my waitress job or my hostess job at the time, being like, look, guys, read my blog post on manifestation. But basically, I didn't know that I wanted to be a coach at that time. That was 2020. But in 2018, I'd been living in Rome and I was studying fine art in Nottingham. And I went to be an au pair over the summer. I didn't know what a life coach was. And I came across it online. I thought, oh, maybe I could do that. But I thought, Jess, finish your degree, finish what you've committed to. Don't start a business now. You're what, 21? And then it came back in lockdown when I started doing, when they would do quite like affordable training programs online and you could just kind of self-study. I just started studying loads of different trainings, like mindfulness, coaching. It's basically spent most of lockdown like studying or creating my Instagram, but it started as a personal brand. So I spent the entire year building a personal brand, which then meant when I did launch as a coach, I had clients come in straight away because they were buying into me and they knew that I was going to be a coach. So they kind of waited for me to open spaces. But before that, I was studying fine art and all of my work was about manifestation, mindset, and like perspective on the world. And that's where it really started. It's now come full circle because I'm a creative business mentor, but I would create PDFs about manifestation and just send them out to people for free because I was like, I want you to be able to change your life. And then over the years, I kind of fell into the business coaching side of it and knew I wanted to work with business owners because I love the passion for the life. And I felt like they had so much more of like a go, go, go energy. And then as I grew my business, then I was helping other people grow their business. And then more recently, over the past year, I reconnected with creativity and with, the artist version of me who started this business. And that's where everything has just taken off. Like we launched the journal, the Fun and Money Playbook, the Quantum Creative Retreats, and North Star, my mastermind. I've moved away from helping people start their businesses, but what I really enjoy is the deeper mindset work and like using my creative brain to help them scale and change their businesses. I feel like there's a lot of people going through rebirths in business at the moment, and that's the part I'm loving.
Yes, I love it. And it's like, how can I use my natural strengths in my job? Like what I actually love doing. And for you, it sounds like that's always been creativity. And I'm sure you're not going to mind me sharing this, but I know some of your story. And back in the day, you were always such a creative person, but to the point where you got bullied for being creative.
Yeah, like it's so funny because you obviously understand now it was so much part of my path, but I walked into a photography studio when I was 13 with a portfolio of picnic edits, if anyone remembers picnic. Um, and they were terrible, like they were absolutely terrible. And I got a job working for free at a photography studio because I was so creative. And because of that, I would post pictures on Facebook every day. Now, I will be honest, probably about 100 photos a day. I'm really sad because when I was actually then being bullied after a few years and I kind of shrank back into myself, I deleted all the photos and I'm gutted. That's
Mm.
why I never delete any of my Instagram now because I want to be able to go back. I don't want to decide that one season of me isn't good enough or isn't for the world to see. But I'm so gutted because I would have people basically post on Facebook like really bad photos of like dust on a table or like a lampshade and then tag me, like actually tag me in every single photo. And be like, am I Jess Pie? Yeah. And basically what I see it as, and kids will be kids, I don't hold any like resentment towards those people, but it was basically being isolated for being individual and for being,
Hmm.
and I think that that can come into how the way people choose to run their business because you've got so much noise around you, you can then fall into the same pattern as, oh, well, I must have to do it that way or their way. But also being seen for being individual. And the past year was such a homecoming to my inner child. Like, genuinely, I'm thinking about scaling my business into more retreats focus, less training, coaching focus. And I honestly remember this moment last year. I was like, my younger self, my 13-year-old self, who was like, had to have a laptop confiscated by a mum because the whole year was kicking off in Facebook group comments and I wasn't allowed to see because it was all about me. She would be so fucking proud.
Definitely. And I work with my clients to discover what their purpose is in this lifetime and support them. Because so many people are like, oh, I know that I want to do something different. I know I want this like freedom lifestyle, but I just don't know how I can do that. I don't know how, not that I'm a business coach, I know I'm not, but for me, it's more about like discovering why you're here, like why are you here in this lifetime? And often we get so many clues throughout our lifetime. And one piece I do is like look on your timeline and like what are the major things that you've gone like through, and also what have been your interests, like what did you love doing when you were younger? Because when we're younger we naturally give time to the things that we want to do. When we're older we start putting rules on like, no, that's not logical, that's not practical, can't do this, can't do that. And it's coming back to, no, what would you do if you could do anything? Like if you didn't have to worry about time or money, how would you spend your time? And that is, this is what I want people to know, is that you can actually have the job of your dreams. Like you can create the business of your dreams. And this is something I loved when I first met you, because I was like, wow, I see someone lit like, you know, they're earning enough money to fund their lifestyle that they want. And I can tell that they're loving doing exactly what they're doing. And the more that we put ourselves in spaces with these people and think, if it's true for them, it's true for me. You know, if they can do it, I can do it. And me and you are both very similar in this way, in that it's all about doing it your way. You know, it's not about following what someone else is doing exactly, but it's like you can use them as inspiration and know that it's possible for you. But also, yeah, how can I do it my unique way? And not in the way of like, oh, because that's good for marketing, but because you've got a unique zone of genius that you got put here on this planet to be.
100%. And I think, I'm a business coach, right? And I will be the first to say too many people find themselves falling into this trap of it's good for marketing, or that's how you have to sell, or that's the offers. And I'll go back to when I first launched Quantum Creative. So for anyone who is new to the Jessica Pie, um, I last year, so actually what I will say is in 2023, I had just had like my highest quarter in business. I literally had made six figures over 12 months, had like a 55K in pounds, so like 70 odd $1,000 quarter. And I got to a point where I realized I'd fallen so much into the trap of like, okay, and now what else can I teach about running a business? What else can I teach? And it was so draining because it wasn't actually what I was so passionate about. Now, I'm an amazing coach, and we've got one of my clients in front of me, so it's not a question of like out of integrity, but what it was I lost the spark of believing that I could do it my way, because you can get drowned out by the industry noise and like what you see other people doing. Now, that thankfully we came back to that and we came, like you said, there's signs. I genuinely think when you look back, you see the breadcrumbs that the universe has been leaving you, and half the time you're just too busy staring at your next 10K month, you can't even fucking see them. But I I was on a call with my mentor and a group call, and I said, I think I want to run a CEO paint and sip, but do like do you think business owners will want to pay for creativity? And on that call, everyone's head snapped up and they were just nodding like, yes, 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 yes. Within 2 days, I'd launched the first quantum creative event. That was like what, 3 months before the actual event. It sold out within a month. Sold out within a month. Now we've got our second one coming up. We've already sold 8 spots, and we've got, again, it's what, June now. It's in nearly 3 months. And had I looked outside of myself for what's been done or what evidence I have for other people doing this, I wouldn't have found it, and I would still be squeezing myself into a business that fit past me like a glove, but I'd outgrown. And I just think it's so important to remember that you, especially if you're a coach listening to this, and especially if you are maybe someone who wants to do it your way, or you maybe haven't even started yet, but you want to make sure you do it your way, you are a human being and a soul before you're a coach in an industry. Like, I'm just super passionate about it. And I've been working with so many clients recently about it as well, where it's like none of my clients do business the same way, and none of them are learning a formula from me. They're learning how they want to do business.
Yeah, how can you connect back with your intuition and your inner guidance? That's basically what being a coach is, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, helping people to like reconnect with that, because like you know the way, but it's like how can you get rid of like the outside noise and the beliefs that are telling you it's not possible for you, or the obstacles that you've put in your way, or yeah, the distractions that you're seeing from other people.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was, I'm laughing so much at your like threads at the moment. But one of them the other day, it was like talking about going first. I can't remember what it was, but it was so funny. Can you say
Yeah, I can
it?
remember it. It was like, it's actually so dramatic of you to think that for some reason you can't be paid for the exact thing you want to be paid for because you can't see anyone else doing it. Like, God forbid, the universe chooses you to go first.
Yes. And I say this to quite a lot of my clients. Like, yeah, it's really good to look to other people to be like evidence that they can do it. But a lot of us are paving the way, and we're going to be the first people that do
Mhm.
it. So, like, we're going to have to go first. And it's great. We can watch other people go first, but you're probably going to be going first in your particular area. And you
Mhm.
can do it.
Absolutely. And like, I think when you open up your mind to what could be possible for you, like, this is really front of mind for me at the moment because I'm doing a challenge in the hotline, which is my paid broadcast, called Juicy June. And it's all about making June the juiciest month ever. And I've not done today's drop yet. I'm actually doing it straight after this. But it's all about one of my clients and close friends, Emily, the philosophical life coach on Instagram. She has a membership called POR, Portal of Receiving, her and her business partner Beck. And they say expect the unexpected. But something that's come up for me is a direct, and you're getting it fresh off the press because I haven't told anyone about this yet, and I've just can't keep my mouth shut. I think I want to start working in a corporate role alongside my business, right?
Mm.
And doing some sort of creative role. I don't know what it is, but I want to run have more retreats and it be more of a community rather than the business coaching. Now,
Mhm.
there would have been a time that I would have shamed myself for doing that because who else is doing that? Does that mean, your inner Basil, your inner critic can pipe up in so many different ways of like, well, that's not how other people do it, right? Since I've made that decision to like put the feelers out, firstly, all of the signs around the universe are like just screaming at me, like actually screaming at me, which is just so fun. But secondly, it's opened my eyes to how attached we can get to the way that we do business and the way that we always have done, or the way that we've lived our life is so applicable to people who maybe don't know what they want to do yet. You've lived your life maybe working a 9 to 5 or working a corporate role where that is now your reality, conscious and subconscious. It's so easy to brush off different ideas because it's not what you were earlier considered. And I think it's so important to actually expect the unexpected and let yourself go first and let yourself take a path that maybe even you hadn't considered before.
Yeah, one of the quotes that sticks in my head from you actually and doing one of your programs is stranger things have happened. And that was
Yeah.
something I kept repeating over and over again before. And we were doing that what if game. And at the start of every month, we were like, what if this happened? And coming up with all of these like ideas of potential things that could happen. It was so exciting. And it was like stranger things have happened, you know, like anything can. And I actually feel like I see magic coming into my life every day. Every day I'm like, wow, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happens when you're living in alignment with your true path and purpose.
Absolutely. It's like the universe sends you little gifts, like, well done, babe.
Yeah. And you also know when you're living out of alignment. That's when you're
Yeah.
like getting unwell, like
And
nothing's
like,
going to plan.
yeah, and also feeling like physically sick, like not like being unwell, but like like, for me, being out of alignment feels like I don't fit in my body. Like my
Mm.
energy is like trying to burst out. And it's just a horrible feeling, isn't it? You're just constantly walking around like something's just off.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. One thing I really admire about you and has been like a big permission slip for me, and like what I want to share with other people as well, is this permission to change paths and to do things differently. And I've seen you launch offers and then you change the name or you change the brand or something else, and you're just like, yeah, it didn't feel right, so I've changed it. And I love that because we don't have to know all the details straight away before we make a move. And this is the thing with intuition, when we get ideas, like the most important thing is that we act on them, not just think, oh yeah, nice idea, maybe another time, because yeah, it's there because it needs to be brought into reality. And I've loved like that, seeing the variety of stuff that you've been doing as well. You literally launched your journal, and I think you said it was like 3 weeks from the idea you had it to
Yeah.
when it was like up and out, which for me shifted my belief of writing a book or doing, you know, something like that has to take like a year or whatever. And it's like, oh no, it doesn't actually have to. It can be that easy.
Yeah.
Not to say that it was all
No,
easy, but
but there was a few late nights, but maybe it's my neurodivergence. But once I had it in my mind, I was like, any spare time outside of my working hours, I was spent doing that. And I didn't even tell my boyfriend about it. I was like, I'm not telling anyone until this is in my hands. So I'd be like, stay away from me. I'm working on my secret project.
yeah. And even now, what you're just sharing about, I actually want this like, job on top of what I'm already doing, and I want to do more retreats. And it does evolve. Like when I started this business 18 months ago, firstly, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just winging it. But like also I knew I was changing lives from the start in whatever way I was doing. But like it has been a journey of like, oh, at the start I was more about balance, and I definitely help people with that now. But now I'm more in like, you know, discovering your purpose, and I'm about like the community events. And then I didn't think I was going to start a podcast until I was like, oh, that'll be something for in the future. And I was putting it off until one day I was like, why are you doing this? Start
Mhm.
now. And I was like, okay, what's holding you back? I don't have a microphone. Okay, cool. Go buy a microphone. Bought it. Here it is. And then I was like, okay, you've got no reason to not start now. This is actually fun. And yeah, it's so fun to see business evolving. And again, you don't have to know all the steps in front of you. You just need to start and know that the steps will become clear as you do it.
Absolutely. And I think it does come down to attachment of like humans like to be in control. And I'm a Capricorn rising. I like to be in control. And it's something I've had to really navigate. From the outside looking in, you'll just see me moving and moving and moving and moving. But of course, you don't see the other side of that, of like sitting with that discomfort, even when it comes to like changing an offer. Like a few months ago, I launched a mastermind and I had to voice note my mental the next day. And I was like, I've got the ick from my own offer. I've actually got the ick. And you have to be open with it. And I think so many people are so scared to. There's actually, I wrote a post like last year, I think, and it was literally just said, stop trying to save face. So many people are so concerned with what other people might think about them. Like, even like for me, if sharing like what my next steps might be, it could be so easy to be like, oh my God, what if people think X, Y, Z? Honestly, they're not going to be stood around my deathbed when I'm on my last days going, well, too bad you did that. Or like, I judged you for doing this. And I think it's just that reminder that anything in life is not supposed to feel as heavy and unchanging. And, it's the classic cliche of like the only thing constant in life is change. But I think life and business feels so much lighter when you let yourself change.
Hmm. Definitely. We're like nature. We're supposed to flow. We're supposed to be cyclical and go through phases of like in full bloom, everything's happening. Then you've got to let some stuff go. be born anew. And it's like this cycle of rebirth. But people are scared of change. People are scared of letting things go, and they're desperately clinging to the current thing, not realizing if they just let go, things will get so much better.
I think there's this fear of like, oh, if I lose this one piece of me, then that everything will crumble. But actually, the question is like, what if it's better than ever? What if on the other side is the best? What if you look back and go, my life changed for the absolute better after that one decision that I made to release that thing?
And that's something I've shared consistently throughout this podcast is people's biggest challenges are normally the portals for growth. It's your invitation to step into this next level version of yourself that you enjoy even more. Like a lot of the time, people do get physical health symptoms come up, and that is the catalyst for change. And I wanted to talk to that as well. You mentioned, these things arising for you in the offer, like, oh, it's giving me the ick. Being able to notice that your feelings, your emotions, physical sensations that arise is so good. So many people are numb out to even realizing what's occurring for them, or they're trying to like push it away or get rid of it. That it's so important to be able to notice.
It's actually something that I've referred back to. So in 2024, I referenced 2023 as my year of self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, and again, I'm happy being a hypocrite. I'm happy going, do you know what? I don't think I was right when I said that thing, or like I changed my mind. But I actually have come to realize I don't think it was self-sabotage. I think it was misalignment, and I was ignoring what my body was trying to tell me. And so trying to keep going back to the way things had worked in the past. And I wasn't exploring, which obviously all changed when I brought creativity into my business. But I think as well, with the self-development world, it can be so easy to like look for things to fix. Oh, it must mean you're self-sabotage, it must mean you're avoiding, it must mean thinking. And actually, it could be something completely different if you just stop looking for the answer and let yourself feel what the next step might be.
Yeah, it's so true. We often want to like make sense of it in our mind, and we're like, oh, it must be that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not. What if it's not?
What if it's not? Exactly. Me and you both are manifesting generators as well, 3-5.
I'm a generator, but I am a
Oh,
3-5.
you're a generator, yeah, but we're both 3-5s, which is all about like trial and error, which I think is so true to us both as well.
Absolutely. The messiest journey of them all.
I had a astrology reading done with Mel
Yes.
before, and she was like, it's something to do with Scorpio in my chart as well. She's like, you're a messy healer. And I love the permission to be messy. We're not supposed to be like perfectionists. That just stops us from taking action.
I've always said with my clients, I've lived it so you can do it in half the time. Like I've messed my way through like most problems that a business owner has had. Obviously, like I said, I've been in this business 5 years. Which also, may I just add on the concept of change, when you're running a business, when you are feeling like you want to evolve, but you're attaching to like how that must mean something bad. If we were to look at that in any other area of your life, like if you're in a long-term relationship it's mine and my partner's, we've just had our 5-year anniversary. I was not the same person in my relationship 5 years ago as I was today. So why would you be in your business? Like, it's so funny how we attach that like control to it. Just need to say that because I think it's a really important piece. I always say to my clients that most problems they've got navigated through, whether that's like having one person in their offer or having a flopped launch or wanting to change the name of the launch as soon as doors have opened or realize that it's misaligned or raising the price and everything, every possible struggle that they navigate, I have 9 times out of 10 experienced myself, and I've probably taken the long route to figure out to do it, right? And I actually love that about myself because I have such a wealth of experience that when clients come to me, I'm like, babes, don't worry. I've been there.
I feel like that a bit too, but just in life. And I'm like, that's probably why I'm a life coach. It was funny. I was actually with one of my clients at a comedy event recently, and we were talking to someone next to us, and they were like, "Oh, how do you know each other?" And it was the first time we'd met. She was like, "Oh, this is my life coach." The person asked, "How do you become a life coach?" And I was like, "Well, first you hire a life coach." Like, I needed one. That's how I got into it. But yeah, like we often help people with what our biggest struggles are. Yeah. So for me, it really was like I was so in my masculine energy, I needed to balance it with my feminine energy. Then I wanted to find out what job I could do to like satisfy me in my life. And that's when I learned all of these different practices to help you discover what your purpose is in life. So yeah, it is funny. And then last year has been my most transformational year. Post breakup, I've been in a relationship for 7 years. And it was so funny. Before that, I thought I was like, um, done so much growth, which I had, but like I just hadn't received a lot of triggers in the last 7 years while I was in a relationship that have all arose over the last year, which has just been like a fun journey. But I've been laughing through it. I've been feeling the emotions and whatnot. But also I've been like, wow, I actually feel like I've put myself in my client's shoes. And I know even more now, like, yes, I feel you. Yes, I've been in that situation. And as I've been sharing more and more, people love to hear it. They're like, oh, wow, I love to hear that other people have these problems or struggles too, because no one's immune to them. It is really just how you can respond to them.
Absolutely. And I think it's such a beautiful thing. And I think it probably helps us as well. Like whenever I'm navigating something, I'm like, I just know I'm going to have a conversation in a month with a client who's feeling the same. And I know that I now understand exactly how they feel.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's great.
So funny. I'd love to hear what would be your biggest piece of advice for people listening, or what's something you wish you could like shout from the rooftops?
So, first thing, stranger things have happened. And I just think, especially thinking of your audience, there are all, I'm assuming, all so many different levels. It might not all be in business. And like I said, obviously, I've had this breakthrough about maybe working a corporate role alongside my business and like refining my business. Besties, I've literally never worked. Let's say I get a 9 to 5. Let's say I go the whole hog and I get a Monday to Friday 9 to 5. I've never worked a 9 to 5 in my life and I have a fine art degree. Like, I am not the textbook, that's the perfect person to hire with all of the experience. I don't even know, I've never used Teams. Like, I have no fucking clue. But stranger things have happened, and actually, I will tell you a very, very brief story about my partner because I obviously not going to share his whole life story, but my partner, we met in when we both worked in the restaurant industry. He was the bar manager, I was the waitress. It was classic bar romance, Italian restaurant romance. But he in lockdown decided that he wanted to go into sales and he started a door-to-door sales job, very, very hard, very intense. And then after that, he decided to go for a more corporate role and he joined a different tech company. He, firstly, didn't go to uni. So he had no experience in this role. He had such a unique life path. That's exactly why they hired him. And they actually were like, we never do this. We absolutely never do this. He has been the fastest team member to be promoted in the 3, 4 years that he's worked there. No one since 1997 has been promoted as many times as him and as fast as him. When I say stranger things have happened, you not getting that, you shooting your shot and not getting it is like the fucking drop in the ocean. Like actual drop in the ocean. And I just want you to look for evidence. And since having this reflection yesterday, I'm so letting the universe guide me with it. So many people, like I even messaged a girl that I met once in my building because I was like, oh, could I come and do a workshop at your wherever you work, a creativity workshop? And she was like, yeah, and by the way, I know someone else that might want that to happen. Someone else has been like, oh, you should speak to this person. One of my friends went from teacher to project manager. I messaged her, what was your experience? And when you actually operate from this energy of like, I know I get whatever I want and I know everything's to my highest good, it happens. And that's where the manifestation still comes in. And like, this is such a random spiel, but like, genuinely stranger things have happened. And when you can operate from that energy, whether it's in business, whether it's in your life, whether it's in shooting your shot with the guy you fancy, stranger things have actually happened.
Stranger things have happened. And it's that listening to your intuition again, because your logical mind can't figure everything out. And sometimes you do just get that thought that's like, message that person. And you're like, oh, I'm not exactly sure why I'm messaging that person. But you don't realize until hindsight where the ripple effect goes when you just follow those little nudges after the nudges. And yeah, I love that. You don't need to have all of the things on the job advert to be able to have it,
No.
Like if you're supposed to have it, you'll get it.
One other piece of advice.
Yes.
Um, Genuinely, 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 your uniqueness is your USP, is your unique selling point. No one in my industry is doing the work I do. And that's why I get daily messages. Oh, someone's asking for podcast guests specifically on creativity. I get people emailing summits to me. I think you could be perfect for this. I think you'd be great for this. I get collaborations with with companies like Squarespace land in my lap because I've been bold enough to be like, this is my way, and this is how I want you to come into that and work with me in that way. That didn't come from just doing it like everyone else was doing it. And you're not supposed to have the evidence because God forbid the universe chooses you to go first.
Yes, I always say this as well. Your purpose is to be authentically you. It's to be the most you version that you can be, get rid of all this conditioning, and that's when you're going to be lighting up the world in whatever way it is.
Exactly.
Exactly. Amazing. This has been so much fun to talk to you. We actually haven't even spoke about fun that much, but I know this was such a part of your business and your life, and it is for me as well. I'm very like playful and love, yeah, bringing more joy and fun. And I think the more we can do that, the better too. I'm literally always telling people, how can you have more fun doing what
Yes.
you're doing?
Yeah, 100%. And as a generator, as a manifesting generator, we are literally more magnetic when we have an overflowing cup. And so for me, it's like I owe it to myself and to my own success to have more fun, whatever that looks like. I am a big player of The Sims, but I'm a big reader. I'm a big painter. I love to go to salsa. Don't know why they're all rhyming. And often my clients will be like in a proper spiral, and I'll be like, firstly, when was the last time you were creative? And secondly, when was the last time you had some fun? And usually that's all they need. It's not the only conversations we have in Telegram, but it's the most transformational.
Exactly. So if you're listening to that, answer those two questions and know that the small steps that you take make such a big difference as well. Literally taking yourself on a date, like I was going to say once a week because you should be, but also if you can't do that once a month, it makes such a difference. Or taking yourself out for an hour and going to that thing that you've been wanting to go to for ages. That is what's going to, yeah, make your day, bring you your ideas.
And if anyone hasn't read or used The Artist's Way, I also recommend that.
Dude, Julia Cameron, she's a
Yeah,
babe.
Queen. And actually, I will say The Artist Way, I went on 2 solo dates. I will say I didn't even make it past week 2 of The Artist Way and my life changed. So that's a testimonial in itself. The first solo date I went on was when the book and the retreat came to light. One artist date with myself, writing poetry in a cafe when I'd never done that before. And the most me offers came up through from creating that space. Genuinely, that, yeah, could talk all day on creating that space. So at
Yeah.
least take yourself on one. If you don't want to set yourself a monthly or a weekly goal, take yourself on one artist date, no phone, 2 hours, do something just for you.
Yeah, can't bring anyone with you.
No.
And yeah, love that. Before we finish up, how can people find you, work with you? What's coming up?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram, the Jessica Pie, or Threads if you want my dry humor. Um, and if you're UK based, we have the Quantum Creative Retreat Day coming up on the 23rd of August in Manchester.
I will
You,
be there.
Effy will be there. Now I need to say, we are blending creativity with strategy, and you also receive a one-to-one color analysis session because I can't believe I've got through a podcast episode without talking about color analysis. But genuinely will change your life. Like, I'm wearing my colors now. I know you're probably hearing me on audio, so you won't see. But when you are embodied in your color analysis, it literally is the way that you glow the best. So you're visually magnetic, but you're also internally magnetic because you're the best looking one in the room, genuinely. But we'll be doing paint and sip. We've got dinner at lunch from a local pizzeria. It's going to be beautiful. Links in my bio. And easiest thing, buy the Fun and Money Playbook. It is a creative journal for business owners. It's got a blend of it's 365 prompts. There's creative prompts like trace your hand and color it in to connect with your inner child. There's collaging in there, but there's also actual business prompts that are really allowing you to connect with the way you want to do business outside of any noise. It will change your life, and you can buy it on Amazon.
Yes, I'll put the link in the bio. Also, highly recommend you follow Jess, especially on Threads. I literally was crying today reading her post about how can I explain to my boyfriend that when I'm staring at myself in the mirror, am I staring into my eyes in the full length mirror, lip syncing Hannah Montana, that this is actually a business strategy and I'm actually hard at work. But the thing is, it's so true. Like these things that we do, like, are the things that benefit us the most.
Honestly, I think this man thinks I do no work because whenever he comes in, I'm either journaling on Pinterest or sexizing myself in the mirror as I think best of both worlds.
But this is what life gets to be like if you choose to run your own business. So
100%, honestly. Oh, this has been amazing.
yes, perfect. I'm going to end it here. Hope that everyone has an amazing day. Mwah!
Thank you for having me.